road at Utah, you know, and against Oregon, at Oregon. So, you know, really good basketball team that we were able to defeat today. And I thought our guys had some teeth to what we were doing defensively. To start the game, the ball moved, and, you know, we saw a few shots go in, which I think was good for our mojo. And then just, you know, found a way to hold on. I had some guys out there, some pretty big minutes, but obviously Hawk was a huge difference in the game. But you know, also Trey Alexander and Rati come off the bench, and, you know, 5 assists and 1 turnover. That's huge for us when we get that kind of play from our guards off the bench.
Thanks, Coach. Questions in the room for Ryan?
What do you think? I know, was it preparation? Because you guys obviously came out pretty crisp on both ends. As Coach said, you guys were locked in defensively. What do you think led to that?
Yeah, I think, and especially for having an 11 o'clock game with a really young team, I thought we were locked in mentally. I think that carried over offensively and defensively to start the game. We got a little bit of momentum. We used it to our advantage that first half, I felt like. And then, you know, they're a veteran team that's obviously really good, so we knew they weren't going to go away. We handled their pressure, their physicality. You know, they're a good team. They're not just going to die just because we have a good half. So I thought we handled the second half really well. We had a few lapses on defense, but that'll happen in a game. But yeah, I think Thursday, Friday, leading up to it, we had 2 really good practices, especially with all the distractions of finals week. So I think it showed how mentally tough our freshmen are and our younger kids that haven't played a lot, how mentally tough they were to get finals taken care of and have a great prep week for practice.
Ryan, I know you've had big games obviously in the past, but just talk about that first half. You just really seemed like you were locked in offensively.
Finally made a shot, felt good. Sorry, Coach. I took a couple I probably shouldn't have, but I was having fun. Just kind of let it come. We did a lot of good things offensively that opened it up. Our guards are so good at getting downhill, playing in space, setting their feet. Kalkbrenner to start the game was huge on the O boards. It just loosened everything up, and, you know, as a group, just really flowed offensively that first half.
Yeah, I mean, I think when your teammates found you on a cut, you might have found somebody on a cut. You guys were able to just kind of make some passes on the interior of their defense. Was that part of the plan, or you just kind of see something this year?
You know, defensively they do such a good job of not necessarily packing the lane, but working inside out defensively. You know, some of that they're going to get a little too high on a passing lane when you're at 15 feet. All you got to do is take a step up and back door, and then they're going to have somebody else step up, kick to a corner, kick to somebody that's cutting. Kalkbrenner found me on a really nice pass from him for a layup, so felt like we did a really good job first half of just moving without the ball and staying space.
I got to ask you about that now. When did you decide you were going to rise up?
I was like, had my steps right leading up to it. I'm like, on a left foot jumper too. I was like, I got to try it at least. It's probably not going to happen again. So worked out pretty well, I'd say.
It did feel like that was kind of, I mean, you never know when the game's going to turn, but that was kind of like the moment where the fans got into it. Maybe you guys stole the momentum back. Could you sense that too?
Well, I hope the fans got into that, because that's about all they'll get this year. But I think, you know, when you get a stop defensively and a quick layup at the other end, it's a good momentum change for the game. But yeah, they should appreciate that one and remember it well, because it probably won't happen again.
You guys good for Ryan? Then we got a question online from Matt. Go ahead, Matt, with your question for Ryan.
Yeah, my connection's wonky, so I apologize if this has been asked already, but I was just wondering if, you know, Ryan, like what it might do for this young group to have to deal with an experienced team like BYU coming back, cutting that lead to 10. They had time left and closing that game out with, you know, without making mistakes and with making plays.
I think that's when we really had to stick to what we do as a team, stick to our identity. We kind of slowed the tempo down a little bit, controlled the pace. We tried to get the shots we wanted offensively. When you can control the pace offensively with the lead, you can, you know, kind of control the shots they were getting. They hit a couple tough shots down the stretch. They hit the glass hard too, but overall we did a good enough job offensively to keep us where we needed to be in that game.
Okay. I think we're good for Ryan. Thank you.
About the way that they finished the game, your team. I mean, there's probably no real preparation for that, to have a big lead over a good team. You know, they're going to come back. What did you see from your guys? You know, what were you looking for as the game sort of reached that point where it's teetering a little bit?
Well, when you have a better team like BYU and they reach kind of desperation mode where they're just trying to get downhill and make plays, you really have to be disciplined defensively. And they probably got to the rim a few more times than I would have liked, but for the most part, I thought we took away some of the three-point shots that they get within their offense. They got some deep ones on a couple of our switches that they took advantage of. But we've been in a few games where we've had to come from behind to win, and I think that helps you. But for the most part, we handled the pressure well. We stepped up and made our free throws, which is important when the team's trying to come back.
Coach, it was a long time in the making to get Creighton a game here, and what was it like to finally have that? What did you think of the atmosphere, and then being able to tie in coaches versus cancer as well?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome, and Paul Seville, and then I've just got so many friends from Sanford that I've gotten to know over the years. So we wanted to make this happen at some point, and I had a feeling what the hospitality was going to be like, and it certainly was that and then some. And it's just a great venue for a game. I've been here for some high school games, and unfortunately the weather kept it from being totally full today. But it was an awesome environment for a college basketball game, and and to have the coaches versus cancer piece is really important as well. And obviously, Sanford Health has certainly been a champion in the fight against cancer, as has Coaches versus Cancer. So to be part of that and to get the message out about the need for continued research to fight cancer, and also I talked to a good friend of mine that was at the game today that's been battling cancer for 4 or 5 years, and he's taken a pill that wasn't available 2.5 years ago, and that's so important. Like it's constantly evolving and changing, and there's new treatments that are allowing people to live a more normal life with this awful disease, and of course. The same guy, told me that he probably caught it too late, and which is why we talk about early detection all the time, and to make sure that the screenings and the checkups take place when they're supposed to. So to be able to be part of this is awesome, and it was a great event today, and I thought the people at the Pentagon and Sanford Health did an awesome job, as I expected.
We've got a question online from Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
Thank you. Hey, Mac, that first half lead you guys built up there, it's hard not to look. I know that not everything is baked into the stat sheet, but it's hard not to notice the disparity in the paint and trace that back to the margin you guys had at halftime. How much of that was just Ryan Kalkbrenner's efficiency on the offensive end and his just ability to take away everything easy inside for BYU?
You can't drive in the snow anymore, Matt, or what? And you have grown up in Nebraska, and it has snowed before. So, no, it was obviously Ryan was huge. His presence at the rim offensively and on the offensive glass. And then we were able to hit a few threes early. And when you hit a few threes early, now do you give up that three and keep an extra help person in there on Kalkbrenner? So we were able to get him on a few, get him touches early in the game. I thought was huge, and then he just was. Such a factor on the defensive end of the floor, both blocking shots and changing shots, and I thought the start of the game for Ryan was probably right up there with the end of the game against Southern Illinois in terms of how he impacted the game on both ends of the floor.
Greg, your decision you guys switched everything basically for most of the first half and maybe into the second too. How difficult is that to execute for a team? And I know it puts some guys in some tough mismatches at times. How do you think they handled that?
Yeah, we just felt that Marcelo and Lucas were, when they're comfortable, they're really, really good. And we switched early, and then we went to blitz in a few screens, out of a timeout on occasion, and then went back to switching. And we just felt, we've done a lot of drop coverage during the course of the year. And drop coverage will lend itself to guys shooting a lot of mid-range shots. Well, that's what Lucas and Barcelo do, and that's where they're elite. So we wanted to take away that part of their game, and I thought for the most part we did. And we didn't get to Alex a few times on that three-point line, but I thought our guys executed the plan. We did a similar plan against North Dakota State where we switched a lot of screens and it was effective. So, we have to have the ability, because we're so young right now and we're not really a master of anything yet. I think we've got to throw some change up at people and kind of change our coverages, and I thought our guys executed that well today.
Matt, do you have anything else?
Yes, I just have one more, sorry. I know BYU isn't normally a team that forces a lot of turnovers, but this is like 50 straight minutes if you trace back to the last 10 of Iowa State, where you guys have been pretty good at ball security. What have you seen that's maybe different about the way your guys are just kind of growing into understanding that, if they just take care of the ball, and usually good shots will come and they'll be pretty efficient offensively?
Well, thanks for not bringing up the first 30 minutes of Iowa State, because we had a season full of turnovers in that first 30 minutes. I just think you grow with experience, and that was going to be a key part of this game, because generally BYU doesn't turn it over either, and we were able to force them into some turnovers with a few denials, with some blitzing and ball screens, and then I just think the knocking them out of rhythm was some switching on screens. So our guys are getting better. That's the reality of it. They're gonna grow with each experience, and as I've said many times, every game's a lesson, and there's a lot that we can learn from this game. Both a lot of good stuff that we did. I thought Alex O'Connell was terrific on both ends of the floor. And hit that big three that I thought was when they cut it to 10. Trey Alexander got in the teeth of defense, made a great jump stop, a patented shot fake, and kicked it out to Alex. And those are the kind of plays that we have to have those other guys make. We rely on R2, we rely on Hawkins, we rely on Kalkbrenner. But when we can get plays like that from the other guys, it's really, really huge for us. But we took much better care of the ball today, and I think it's a result of all the experiences we've had leading up to today.
You just mentioned your team's growth and every game's a lesson, but did you feel like you needed one against a good opponent to sort of propel you forward at this time of year? Or I don't know, you read on your guys, how they're handling.
You play to win, and we've won 8, we've lost 2, and obviously to have an opportunity, we're in a stretch of 3 ranked teams in 4 games, and we came up short at home against Iowa State. I think Iowa State showed you what they're about against Iowa the other night. So this was a really good win for us, and an opportunity to grow. And Arizona State was struggling early. They played really well the last couple games, so we'll have our hands full on Tuesday, and then we open league play on Friday. So this is a step in the right direction. It was a quality team. This was a great game for us. So for us to be able to come out on top against a very experienced team is really a feather in the cap for our guys.
Thanks,
you.
Coach.